My piercing bothers you? Sure, I'll listen to you. This is from a few months ago when I first started at my new job. I apologize in advance for any error. On one of my first days, my manager said I had to remove my piercing. I have an industrial piercing. Like this. Since I had the piercing on my interview and he was the one to interview me and didn't say anything. Then I said I wouldn't. He let it go for a few days, then told me again. My reply this time was, all of my colleagues have at least one piercing on the upper ear. So why am I the only one that has to remove it? And he said, I quote, does any of your colleagues have a stick that goes through the whole ear? No, just you. So remove it. Right after the end of that shift, I went to my piercer and got a set of separate but matching piercings that I can wear in the single holes, which I only ever do while working. The first time he saw me with the new piercing, he said that we'd been through the conversation plenty of times and to just remove the piercings. To which I said, see, you told me yesterday that the problem was I had one piercing that went through my whole ear. Now I don't anymore. I have two separate piercings. All good. It's so good to see him still fuming about it after months and not being able to do anything since I've technically removed the piercing he wanted me to remove. If you got some small stickers of your country's flag and stuck one onto the pole, you would become patriotic and he wouldn't dare to tell you to take down your country's flag. Good for you. Back in long-lost history, early 80s, I had a single pierced ear. Not quite avant-garde for a male in the 80s, but not normal, either. Working at McDonald's, and neither my manager nor the regional supervisor said anything. The franchise owner came in and told me to remove it. I can't, it's fresh and will close. He said, take it out and put a string in it. Looked him dead in the eye and responded, no, and just walked away like the conversation no longer interested me. Surprisingly, I never heard another word about it. Lived at home still, so there was zero risk for me. Felt good. Screw these idiots that think they own you for minimum wage. Businesses getting bent over piercings and tattoos need to come out of the dark ages. Seriously. Grow up. Nice MC. Op. A story went viral last month where a worker wasn't allowed to show her pink hair because it wasn't a natural color. So she got a bunch of really bad wigs. But they all have natural color. It's worth looking at the pics. Edit. Spelling. https www.boardpanda.com/womanrebel-job-hair-policy with bad wigs. The funny thing about these policies is that it's almost always blamed on how the customers view you. But the customers never complain. It's an assumed problem that management wants to control. I've never been somewhere, saw an employee with a tattoo or piercing and thought, wow, I'm never coming here again. A+ petty rules lawyering. Good for you, and what a putz. You should get one of those chain industrials. It's not a bar after all. Winking face. Like this. I like my employees like I like my wife. Completely traditional and subservient. Why am I the bad guy? I'm not fond of extensive piercings beyond normal ear ones, but the pettiness of him approaching you regarding it after they already onboarded you is just pathetic. They hired you for skills, not looks. It's not as if the piercing is in anyone's way or detracts from what you presented in the interview. I also vote for the comment on the patriotic flag on your piercing to see his reaction. This is exactly why I ask about hair color, tattoos, and my daith piercings when I am in an interview. I do need to keep a job since I have bills to pay. But I don't feel like making myself miserable by blending into the crowd while I do it. Lol. I'm willing to have a more toned down hair color. But the tattoos and piercings are permanent. Why's he trying to go all double standard, stickler on you specifically? Either enforce the policy office-wide or drop it. I worked for a hardware store for years. Had piercings in ears and have had every color known to man in my hair. Towards the end of my time there, a very nice guy dyed his hair purple. Management said he couldn't have it. Meanwhile other girls had funky hair colors. I was mad. I hadn't dyed my hair in ages, but I would have gone full rainbow. Store manager apologized before I could lay into him. I've been through about 9 store managers. I would have had no problem going unclear on him. I'm a general manager for a small business. I've let my hair grow out during the pandemic. It's below my shoulders. I'm male. The director hasn't said a word to me in 4 years about it. And I'm essentially the face of the company with our clients. It doesn't matter what you look like. What matters is whether you do the job or not. It just seems so petty and dumb. Love it. Holy MC, Batman. I had an interview to cook at a restaurant my first year away at school. My first 2 years were at my local campus where I could live at home and keep my FT job while I scheduled classes around work. I also played a pretty large amount of basketball in those days. So I had my head shaved a lot of the time. So, the idiot who interviewed me, who has 4 tattoos and at least 3 visible facial piercings that I could see, had the audacity to straight up ask me if I was a skinhead or a neo-Nazi. Never been so close to knocking somebody out. But I tried to stay as calm as I could. Told him the interview was over. To which, the look on his face was priceless. By the way, and never ate in the joint my whole 3 years on campus. As well as steered everyone I knew at the time or have known since away from them. Simply by explaining the story. I've gotten a lot of metal and ink myself in the years since. And I did not judge him for his mods at the interview either, but it never has stopped being an experience that stunned me out of my mind. First off, not every shaved head means skinhead. Dude, what if I'd lost it from chemo? Or had alopecia? Second of all, I have never met anyone before or since who was into body modification and judged anyone else's taste of style. Maybe I'm lucky. It just blew me away. And still does. In other words, you be you. Find every loophole you can. And rebel in whatever ways you can get away with. Good on you for shoving his plan down his throat. Grin full score fire. Those type of piercings bother everyone. Everyone doesn't like them. We just don't want to hurt your feelings, so we don't say anything. But seriously, no one thinks they look good. If you don't like the rules, get a job at Walmart where customers will think you are classy. Other than that, when you own the company, you make the rules. Perhaps he's hoping the new hire was more malleable. Unless you live in a right-to-work state. But you are apparently within your probationary period, so in both cases, yes, there is something he can do. Fire you. That being said, you smacked him in across the face with that fish real good. https www.youtube.com/watch v equals t8xed vikchi 4e.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.